Hey, my name is Ian Boswell from Wahoo, and I'm here today to show you how to properly install your SPEEDPLAY cleats to your road cycling shoes. I have been on SPEEDPLAY pedals since I first started riding a road bike way back when I was 10 years old, and I've been on SPEEDPLAY for my entire road career. I really do love the SPEEDPLAY system. I have some unique physiological quirks in my pedal stroke, so the ability to set up my pedals both independently on left and right shoe and adjust the float separately allow me to get the perfect position for myself. And I'm going to show you how to set up your cleats so you can get the correct position for yourself and your riding style. With two types of cleats, the standard and the easy tension release, you are now able to personalize your clipping in and clipping out based off of your riding style. But first, let's install the SPEEDPLAY pedals. Wipe the threads of the pedal to make sure all surfaces are clean of grease and dirt so you don't have any issues when you come to tightening your pedals. Add a small amount of grease to the threads of the pedal to make sure pedal removal down the road is much easier. Thread the right pedal into the drive side crank arm and the left pedal into your non-drive side crank arm. On the non-drive side of the bike, the pedal is reverse thread, so be sure to remember that when installing and removing your pedals. Use an 8mm Allen wrench to make sure your pedals are securely tightened on the bike. In every cleat assembly package, there are 4 unique parts. The first is your base plate. The second is your spring. Third is the rubber walking cover. And lastly is the screw set, which fastens the entire cleat together. Here are the tools required to install your SPEEDPLAY cleats. 1 number 2 Phillips screwdriver and 1 number 0 Phillips screwdriver. The installation process is both the same for the standard release cleat and the easy release cleat. We'll walk through those steps now. I'm going to start with my right shoe. I've got my right shoe. I've got my right base plate and right base plate cover. Make sure that that is firmly attached. Make sure the base plate is flush against the sole of your shoe with as little gap as possible. It may be necessary to use the shims provided to create the best possible fit. This step is essential to making sure that the foundation of your pedal cleat alignment is proper and that you're not going to run into any issues down the road when you're assembling the spring which lays on top of the base plate. When you open up the screw pack, there are 2 separate length screws based off of your shoe and any potential shims that you would run. So for myself and for my shoes, I'm just gonna run with the shorter black screws. I'm gonna install the 3 black screws into the 3 pinholes on the base plate of my shoe. During this process, gently screw into the base plate. This is also the first location where you can actually make a significant adjustment to your cleat placement. So with the base plate, you are able to adjust the fore aft of your shoe. And conveniently, there is a center line located on the base plate, which will line up to the center of the cleat, which will line up with the spindle of your pedal. Once the base plate is securely fastened to the shoe, you can go ahead and start tightening down the 3 base plate bolts. These should be tightened to a recommended 4 Newton meters. Now with the base plate installed, we are going to grab the right cleat and spring. We're going to place the spring centered on all 4 bolts in the base plate. We're going to take the 4 tiny screws and carefully, one at a time, thread those into the 4 bolt pattern that is located on the bottom of the base plate. Use the X pattern to tighten your screws one by one. These screws should easily be going into the base plate. If you feel any tension when you're just getting the screw started, make sure to back it off and restart. You do not want to cross thread these screws. Once all 4 screws have been inserted but are not yet tight, this is the time when you can make the left-right adjustment based off of how close you want your foot either to the crank or away from the crank arm. And with these screws, they are self-locking, so once you tighten them down, you'll feel a little click actually in the screwdriver as you're tightening. 2.5 Newton meters is all that these screws need to be securely fastened to the cleat. And just like that, we have now successfully attached our base plate and spring to our shoe. There's one final step, and that is the float. On the side here, there are 2 screws that you can see either heel in, heel out, and toe in, toe out. You will use a number 0 screwdriver to either tighten or loosen based off of your desired float measurements. Once all steps have been complete and your shoes are properly adjusted to your fit, you can place the rubber walking cover over the entire setup, make sure it's securely fastened, and then you're ready to ride. I hope this has been a helpful tutorial on the installation process of your new Wahoo SPEEDPLAY pedals.